Dave, we got to see Danny Etling against Jacksonville State. Mississippi State comes to Baton Rouge this week. Etling went 6 for 14. Didn't complete a pass in the second half, but the crowd didn't seem to mind. They just wanted change. And he looked confident throwing the ball. He misfired a number of times, but it's Mississippi State taking on LSU.
Yeah, you mentioned Danny Etling came in. Yes, they were excited down there, but, just 6 of 14 for 100 yards, but it was still better than what they were getting from Brandon Harris. Look what's happened there since, he got benched against Wisconsin. Now he's complaining on Twitter. Looks like some transfer things going on there with him talking to a former teammate who transferred out of the program. So where is the head of this LSU team going into this game? Do they want to fight for their coach and go get a big win for them? Even though Mississippi State has lost a game against South Alabama, they showed up pretty well against South Carolina last week. They're better than South Alabama. They just happened to lose that game. Mississippi State nowhere near as bad as they showed, but they do have a little bit of issues. Their defensive front has kind of been. They played much better against South Carolina when they held them 31 carries for 34 yards. But can they show back up again and not give up what they gave against South Alabama? We're going to see how Leonard Fournette, is he healthy? Is he going to be the rock? Because don't get me wrong, no matter who plays quarterback for LSU, they're not going to go in and throw the ball all over the place. So, if they have to play catch up, because Fitzgerald, he showed flashes last week of a guy who could come in and maybe replace Dak Prescott. He's got to keep that up. But he showed arm and legs last week. 195 yards rushing, 178 yards passing with a pair of scores. So he needs a similar effort to beat LSU. But I think LSU somehow rallies around Les Miles. I think they get it done. But I don't necessarily think it will be Etling that makes them win the game. You won't point to Danny Etling as the reason they win this game. I think Leonard Fournette comes back healthy and gets a win for the Bayou Bengals.
In the span of 2 hours, or 3 hours, I should say, Mike, and a 2-point loss against Wisconsin, now a top 10 team at Lambeau Field, LSU's been gone from highly regarded national championship contender to completely kicked to the curb by most people. They try to gain back some respect against Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mark, that was the same thing that happened last year with LSU. The first CFP rankings that came out, LSU was in the top 4, and they had that very bad November, and they kind of went out of the national consciousness for the CFP. Ended up in a bowl game last year, won that bowl game. But same thing's happening this year. They started out high, and now a lot of people don't even have them in their top 25. So I think you see a lot of people losing, selling their LSU stock, and I don't think they're going to 2 years in a row. But that's not going to affect things on the field. I think LSU comes out, no matter where their head's at, they still got a lot of talent. People forget Mississippi State has quarterback issues as well. Fitzgerald got pulled the first game in that loss to South Alabama. So Mississippi State's not really where they want to be either. If this was last year with Mississippi State having that talent, still having Dak Prescott, having the momentum, I think it might be a year where Mississippi State could upset LSU. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think once Etling gets a full week of reps and a full week of practice with the first team, I think he's going to look more like second quarter Etling than third and fourth quarter Etling. And they just have so much talent on the defensive side. I think LSU, I don't think they're going to make a statement in this game, but I think they're going to win the game.
Chad, Vegas certainly hasn't lost any confidence in the Bayou Bengals. They're a 12-point favorite against Mississippi State in this one.
Yeah, look, Fitzpatrick was a guy I was talking about from Mississippi State early on, and he showed up pretty good this last week. But that being said, it's easy to do. They didn't do so well in the first game. I think LSU is a much better team than any that they faced so far. I think Mississippi State in this game, I know Mullen was praising his quarterback this last week and talking about he's a better runner or a faster runner than Dak was, but whatever the case may be, some of that's talk, and to be quite honest with you, sometimes Mullen talks out of the side of his mouth. But that being said, I kind of feel like this game, LSU, if they do go with Etling, we talked about this last weekend, is would Brandon Harris, or would he be the starter by the Auburn game? Would that be the case? And it looks like this may be a change even faster. And I think Harris's behavior since Etling's been taking some snaps really shows a lot about his character, his maturity. It also shows and it proves the fact about Harris not really having the football IQ that we thought he may have. And there was a lot of rumors around Baton Rouge that was part of the reason why he hasn't been so successful in the offense of Cam Cameron's. Look, if Etling's able to come in and he's able to drop these bombs and he's able to get the ball to the wide receivers because they have a heck of a lot of talent out there, and that can help ease the pain off of Fournette a little bit, then that's what you do, and that's the guy you go with. And if that's the case, and I think LSU gets this win against Mississippi State, and they'll be 1-2 in the first 3 weeks.